There's an Avatar scrapbook that released not too long ago called Legacy of the Fire Nation, which is written from Iroh's perspective and talks about how he spent his childhood and years as a young adult trying to desperately please his own father and grandfather, while being at times envious of his younger brother's ambition and ruthlessness, which felt more appropriate for his lineage. Now, when I'm talking about a movie or a film, I don't like using affiliated media as part of my analysis or even my own understanding of the piece. I believe in analyzing what you see and hear, not what gets added at a later date. You only have to look at, for example, J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter series to see how an author can take a beloved piece of work and throw in random retcons and character details that either add nothing or even take away from the joy of the work. But even without that art book, it's not hard to imagine that Iroh would have grown up in a horrible environment in the same way that Zuko does. The court of the Fire Kingdom is clearly a place where anyone can be corrupted. I don't think the point of the story is that the Fire Nation and its people are singularly evil. Far from it. The point, at least as I see it, is that powerful people can easily manipulate others and create enemies where none exist. One of the greatest pieces of ambient storytelling in The Last Airbender comes in Book 3, Chapter 2, The Headband, when Aang infiltrates a Fire Nation school and realizes that the kids are being taught propaganda, completely wrong pieces of history that aim to indoctrinate them into believing that what the Fire Nation is doing is righteous and just. Of course, this is how both in real life and the show, you can get people growing up and becoming happily complicit in heinous acts of war. But now imagine you're growing up around the people who believe this most strongly, as Zuko and Iroh did, and you add to that a desire that every child has to please their parents. Well, it's a recipe for disaster. You can see how easily a young prince determined to show their worth would make extra effort to be cruel or aggressive to show what a great leader of the Fire Nation they'd be. But this brings us back to the idea of destiny, and that scene of Iroh bragging about sieging down the walls of Ba Sing Se.